In this presentation, we will record selling and administrative expenses to see how they would line up on our profit and loss report by classes within QuickBooks Pro, QuickBooks Desktop. Here we are in our practice problem 4. We currently have the open windows open. You can open the open windows by selecting the view dropdown and the open windows list. Now, let's go back to our report. We're going to go to our reports dropdown. We're going to go down to the company and financial and take a look at our profit and loss by class. Then we're going to change the dates up top from 01/01/20 to 12/31/20. Here's going to be our report. Again, we can minimize the columns up here, which is nice, and just see the totals. What I want to indicate here, what I want to focus in on is this unclassified area. Nothing should be in there with regards to the cost of goods sold. What if we had other kind of things which were not cost of goods sold related? In other words, administrative type of expenses, things like the accounting expenses, the management type of expenses, and then we have the selling expenses. How would we set those up? Okay, so if one way we could do that is just use this unclassified column for them. I would set up another account, because what I don't want to do really is take something like utilities and break it out between the administrative, selling, and so that we have one item for the 3 line items, because I'd really like to have a separate account up here. So if I see anything in any other column that's related to a cost of goods sold, I'll put it here. That's why we set up this account as cost of goods sold. So it's in an account type. So anything that's going to be repetitive, that's like utilities for the admin or the salaries, we'd have to make another account that's not cost of goods sold, but an expense account. So in other words, selling and admin, instead of being cost of goods sold accounts, instead of being on this line, they're going to be on an expense line. And that's all we'll do for the change. So for example, if we went to the home tab and I was to write a check, we could say that we're going to write a check once again to Edison, right? Which is our utility company. Now you might even want to put it in a different name, Edison, for selling and admin or something like that, so that it'll save the distribution to go to a different account, so that it'll remember to go to a different account in some way, or even just a dot or something like that, which you'll know it will differentiate between the cost and the other, so that when you go to that particular vendor, it'll go to the proper expense account. So we're going to do a quick add of it. It's going to be a vendor. We're going to just put like 5,000 in here. Let's put 6,000 in here. And then we're going to say that this is going to be an expense. I'm going to set up another account. This is going to be utilities, and I'm just going to call it utilities for selling and admin, and then tab set up. It's going to be an expense, not cost of goods sold. And then we'll continue, and it'll be an expense account. And there we have it. And so I'm going to put it there. Now, I'm not even going to put a class this time. I'll show you another way we could do it, but I'm just not going to put a class now. I'm going to say save and close, and OK, or yes, save anyway. And then if I go to the profit and loss report, and I say don't show me that, and yes, and then I'm going to minimize the cost of goods sold, and it should show up down here then in the expenses. So under the expenses, I'm going to minimize the columns here so we can see it. So I've minimized everything. Under the expenses, there it is. So it's not under cost of goods sold. It's down here in unclassified. And you can use then the unclassified to allocate between selling and admin. So note that, again, you might want to break out between selling and admin. And there's a couple ways you can do it. You could create 2 accounts. You can create the Edison bill for selling, Edison for admin, or you can break this bill out between the 2 of them, right? And so you could do that because they're both in an expense account. So let's see what that would look like. If I go into here and I say we're paying the same bill for the 2 of them, we could then break out between the selling and admin with the use of basically the classes. So I'm going to say that I want the utilities for selling and admin, which I put a T on. And let's say I want the 2,000 to go to the selling. I'm going to set up another class for selling and add the class. And then I'm going to say utilities and admin, the 4,000. And then I'm going to put this under admin tab and quick add. And then if I was to save and close, then now we've created two other categories, closing this back out. And then if I manipulate these items, you can see the unclassified here has nothing in it. We have the selling with the 2,000, and then we have over here the admin 4,000. Now, if you want some kind of order in the classes, then you can number the classes, right? These are the parent classes, admins at the beginning because it's in alphabetical order. So if you went to the lists dropdown and we go to the class list, let's say we want to see the closed jobs first from left to right, then the closed jobs in the current year, then the open jobs, and then the selling and admin or admin and selling. So if I go to the closed jobs, I'm going to right click, I'm going to edit that item, edit the class. I'm just going to put a 1 in front of it. 1, that's the first one column we want. And then on the closed in the current year, right click, edit. I'm going to put a number 2 up top. So we're going to say this is 2 tab and OK. And then and then in the open jobs, right click, edit. That's going to be number 3 that we want in order and OK. And then we're going to say admin. Let's say admin first. And then we're going to edit the class. And then we're going to say this is number 4. And then we want the selling finally. Right click on it. Edit the class. And this is going to be number 5 and OK. Then if I go back to the profit and loss, it'll line up in that order down below. So if I go down to the down below, we then have the first item being the closed in the current period because we don't have any closed jobs. The second item being the open jobs. And then we have the admin and the selling breaking out, once again, that 4,000 and that 2,000. Main point is then, if you use this method, once again, the unclassified should have nothing in it. And we should be applying this out. And also, the jobs should have nothing in selling, admin, or unclassified. And then down here, we should have everything broken out between these two. The final way you might want to do this is actually to set up 2 different accounts, one for selling, one for admin for the utilities. So if you were to take a look at that, you could say, okay, I want to break out the second account for them. So I've got the selling account, and then you might want to break another account out. That's going to be the utilities for admin only. And then tab, set up that account. It's going to be an expense tab. And then you can have separate accounts for them as well as the separate classes. And then, or you don't even need the class. We could say save and close. Okay. Close this back out. And now you've got the 2 accounts, and you can break them out by selling and admin, possibly even having a separate sub account for the selling and admin to have selling expenses and admin type of expenses breaking out in a similar fashion as you have the subcategories up top. And finally, you could put the selling, and so the selling and admin are still in their own section in this format. You don't really need that then. You could put them into unclassified. All of these in unclassified given their own account name. So for example, if I was to go back into here and open this back up, we could say, I don't need these 2 columns. I don't need this class column, and I don't need this class column. I'm just going to break them out by 2 separate accounts in the unclassified column, and that can shorten your report up a bit. We could say save and close. Yes. Okay. Save anyways. Close back out. And now you'll see that down here under the expenses, we're breaking them out by category, right? The expenses for the admin, and then I should rename this to just selling. But you can see that you can then break these out down here, and everything in unclassified then is going to be in selling and admin, broken out by subcategories of selling and admin. Everything that's going to be up here in the jobs then should be allocated to a particular job. So those are the kind of ways that you could think of how you're going to set up the selling and admin afterwards, and how you can either use the unclassified or create new classes for the selling and admin classes.